lot of family time and a lot of food to eat. Wouldn't you say, Vic?
Yeah, we all are.
All right, so we're going to start off in just 1 minute here at the top of the hour. We're going to respect your time. I appreciate you joining us. I'm honored to be a part of your life and excited to share a dear friend of mine that is joining us today. You know what, Jonathan, I'm drawing a blank, but let me hit the recorder, and I will do a formal introduction, and we will go from there. 1 second. Hello, everybody. This is Scott Hudspeth with Agent Mastermind. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the call. This is very exciting for me to introduce a very dear friend of mine, Jonathan Zabrocki, out of California. Is that right, Jonathan?
Yeah, yes, sir. Hello, Scott.
How you doing, buddy? Thank you so much for taking time out of your day today. Jonathan has been in the business about 11 years. This year alone has closed $40 million in production. The last 11 years, about $330 million. Here's the best part that I like, that excites me the most. He's doing it in 11 to 15 hours a week. Okay. Here's the other thing. He's has been noticed and has how do you say it, interviewed or been on ABC, CNBC, Fox, and MSNBC. And here's another cool part I just learned, that he's selling his homes in about 8 days for 5.1% more money. So Jonathan's going to be on with us a lot over the next 8 weeks. And I just, dude, I welcome you. Appreciate you being here with us and taking time out of your day. And I got my notepad ready to learn, brother.
Awesome. All right. Well, yeah. Thanks a lot for having me on. I appreciate it. And yeah, I started in real estate 11 years ago. I started in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and probably one of the best things I did is I teamed up with a top producer. And this gentleman had sold over 3,000 homes, and it helped my wife and I and our family buy and sell a couple of homes. And so when I got into real estate, I called him up and I said, you know, I'd like to work with you, and away it went. And my first year, I did a little over $10 million in sales. My second year, a little over $14 million. And my third year, a little over $27 million in sales. And that was, like I say, about 11 years ago. And the big difference, I think, with myself versus a lot of other realtors out there is I spent a lot of money on training and coaching and really building a business. And so that between that second and third year, I spent probably, gosh, no joke, Scott, probably about $90,000 on just personal improvement. And you know, you name the real estate coach, and I'm sure I signed up for their programs and implemented their proven principles. And then I kind of just developed my own, right? So I took some from this person and this person and this person, and away it went. And yeah, pretty much every year I've had my best year ever, which is great. This year, this year, probably 12 to 15 hours a week, and that might be overstating it. I just came back from a nice week-long vacation with my wife and our 4 kids. We went to St. John, part of the U.S. Virgin Islands, and probably 5 years ago, I moved from Minnesota to San Diego. And then what I would do is I would fly back to Minnesota basically once a week to hang out with, my realtors there. And then I started going back maybe every 2 weeks, and it was once a month, and it was once a quarter. And I sold that company, gosh, it was earlier this year, probably January. And about 3 years ago, I just woke up one day and I said, you know what, I need to work again. And I really didn't like not working. And so 3 years ago, I said, all right, I'm going to sell real estate in San Diego. And I'd have to look at my numbers, but I'm pretty sure that first year I did, I don't know, maybe 25, 30 million in sales, let's say. And I don't know anyone, so, but I definitely hooked up with Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com. I still, to this day, get a lot of my leads that way. That's really, really important to me, and I've definitely perfected a system that, when those leads come in, I convert them, and it's probably at a 33% conversion rate, which is very, very high. And then, yeah, over the years, I've definitely done real estate coaching and training on a personal level. It's pretty expensive. You know, some realtors have paid me over $140,000 for just 1 year of my real estate consulting. And I have a program I do pretty much every month or so. It's in San Diego. It's a 3-day event, and the cost for the event is $8,000. And during that event, you get a blueprint of exactly how to triple your income and work half the amount of hours that you're currently working. And I limit that to a maximum of 12 people every month. And then if people want to go forward with more in-depth mastermind coaching, they can, and that's basically $30,000 a year. So, but my whole point is to get clients' results faster and more sustainable, and whether it be a realtor getting better results or a client getting better results. And that's one of the big things. I've spent a lot of time and money making sure that when I list a house, it sells faster and for more money. And so when I do interact with a seller, it's really easy because they ask me, well, what makes you different? And I say, well, we're going to sell your home faster and for more money. You know, statistically, we've helped over 1,100 families, and out of those families that we've sold their home for, we are selling their homes for 600% faster in an average of 8 days, and for 5.1% more money. So if you're interested in selling your home faster and for more money, we'd be a great fit.
And this hey, Jonathan, really quick. I got a couple people. Is there anybody on the call that can people hear us? Okay, I'm getting a couple people saying they can't hear anything. So can everybody hear us? Okay, all right. So it's just there's a couple isolated. I want to make sure that it wasn't isolated to everyone hearing. Okay, good. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, go ahead, buddy.
Awesome. So to me, this is how I start my day. And the realtors that I train, the realtors that are on my group, same type of thing. And I just start it with question 1, which is I have a sense of fear, to question 2, I have a sense of confidence. And it doesn't matter where somebody is on that line. It's just you have to give yourself a number. So are you at the bottom end, which is a 1? Are you at a 50, a 60, a 70, a 90, a 100? Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. And I would say even for today, for all of us on the call, I would do this right now. And so for this first question, where are you at on a scale of 1 to 100 for that question? And just jot it on your piece of paper. And then question 2 is, all right, I have a sense of nervousness, or I have a sense of positive anticipation. And give yourself a number to that. And next question, a sense of rejection, or I have a sense of determination. Same thing. This is really probably my favorite question. I have a sense of procrastination or reluctance, which we all do at certain times.
Absolutely. Or creative avoidance, right? Creative avoidance. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm working my butt off. I'm on Facebook for 4 hours a day, and I'm in my email for 2 hours a day. And I took a lunch with a business partner that I don't get any business from, and man, I'm so busy I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, well, and it's all stuff that's good. It's just not great, right? And so I joke around and I tell people that I'm not the best online person. I think I have a website. I don't know if I have a Facebook account or a Twitter account. I have a personal Facebook page, and I'll get to that stuff, I guess, if my business ever dries up. But to me, it's just not of mass critical importance. And then next question is, I have a sense of justification or rationale, or I have a sense of winning. I have a sense of self-doubt or a sense of success, a sense of uncertainty, of certainty, doom and gloom or a sunny day, unlucky or good fortune. And then the last one, which to me is the ultimate question, is I have a sense of I will, when I feel like it, do easy things to get by, which is, kind of what you'd said earlier, right? Going out to lunch with someone who's not sending any business. Or, I have a sense of I must, and then I do the daily required actions to make my 1, 3, 5, 7, and 10-year goals a reality? And that's a really tough question because there's a lot of people out there, and even, my first year when I did a little over 10 million in sales, that was good, but I was just doing it from like sheer work and determination, but I really didn't have any goals. And I'd say that third year, when I doubled my business and really started working less, that's when I started to really map out what do I want, and what do I want for my family, and what do I want for my clients, and who is my ideal client, and so now I'm really crystal clear of my goals, and that helps me be really crystal clear with my clients and prospects and almost disqualify them, if that makes sense.
That totally makes sense, man. I think this is a huge questionnaire that everybody's asking for a copy of it, and I'll make sure that it's going to be included in the PowerPoint along with the recording. So to get a copy of anything we talk about today, just get with the loan professional that sent you here, and we will make sure you get a copy of not only the PowerPoint yeah, I love the self-awareness attitude quiz. Dude, I do something every morning to kind of get my mind right and get on a positive note because, man, if you're thinking bad thoughts or going through, whatever it is, if you're not positive, your outcomes, obviously the results that you get are going to be the same, not good, negative, all that stuff. So great way this is just, I've never seen something like this. I tried to Google it. Once I seen it, and I'm like, man, there's just nothing out here like this. So, yeah, thanks for bringing this to our attention.
Yeah. Well, and then what I do is I add all these, 10 numbers up, and I divide it by 10. And, some days I might be at a 50, right? Because I'm human. And other days I might be at a higher number. But I know whatever number I'm at, it's irrelevant because what the clients and the prospects expect me to be is a 90 or higher, right? And so it's one of those things where it's just an awareness, right? So if I'm at a 55, I got to either say, all right, I just got to go to the beach and surf for 12 hours, or if I really, really want to get a result in the next 60 minutes, I got to boost my number so it's a 90 plus. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. So
just stay at home. Just stay at home that day is what you're saying?
Right, exactly. So it really comes down to this. It's like little self or big self, right? So little self is just that side of us who's always kind of doubting things and, can it happen? Will it happen? And then, big self is just the person that goes out and just does it, right? And it's kind of like my favorite slogan is Nike. And I love it because it's $1 billion company that sells shoes, and all shoes do the same thing. Although their slogan is just, well, I'm sure. What is their slogan? Do you know, Scott?
It's the check mark, right?
Yeah, the check mark, and then their phrase is "just do it."
Just do it, right? Correct. Yep. Tony got it, man.
Yeah.
Tony's he's on the call. Yep.
Nice job, Tony. So I love the check mark because to me it's like, all right, am I going to get something done today? And if I am, what is it going to be? I got to start checking things off my list, and it's just a matter of just doing it. And these are really 4 things that are going to either drive us to ultimate awesome success or just drive us into the ground. And it starts with our thoughts, and then our thoughts lead to our feelings, a feeling leads to an action, and an action leads to our results. And a thought might be, we'll start with a negative thought. So what would be a hypothetical negative thought that a realtor might have today through the rest of the year?
I'm going on a listing appointment, and they might say no.
They might say no. Okay, awesome.
Or my competition gets there first and has something better than me.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, they might say no, I might not get it. All right, it might be true. So then that kind of bleeds into a feeling, and that feeling might be, gosh, you know what? Maybe I'm not as prepared as I should be, or maybe I should have bought this or done this or have these additional things so that, they don't choose my, competition. And then, it leads to the action, and the action is now I'm sitting down, at the kitchen table with my prospect, and I'm not thinking about all the awesome things I have that I'm going to do for this client. What am I thinking about?
You're thinking negative thoughts, yeah.
I'm thinking about, oh, I wish I could have done this or that.
Right.
Or, will the competition get it? And dot, dot, dot. And then the result is typically not the best result. And the result is, gosh, I didn't get that listing. So then it kind of loops back to the front again, which is thoughts. And I go back to the office, and that my thoughts are negative, my feelings are negative, my actions. Maybe I even start taking less actions now because I just lost that listing appointment. So why even call this other lead, because they're probably not going to list with me anyway. So what's the point?
Exactly. You self-sabotage yourself.
Oh my gosh, yes. And then same thing happens with positive thoughts. It's like you positively self-sabotage yourself. And a thought might be, you know what, I'm really good at this. I'm going to help this person really find the house of their dreams. And then that feeling of, you know what, I'm pretty good. It's like my shoulders are higher, just my whole perception's better. And then my action with them is more like, instead of just being a realtor, in San Diego, there's 17,000 realtors. There's a lot of competition, but there's only one of me, right? And everybody on the call, there's only one of them, and that's awesome, right? And so it's just having that feeling makes you take larger actions, and when you take larger actions, you generally get larger results. And to me, this is so huge. I mean, the world is really set up for you to succeed, but a lot of times we have to get out of our own way.
Absolutely.
And it goes back to this actions, right? So actions are so critical because when you and I are in retraction mode, what generally happens is like nothing. We just wait for something to happen.
Or hope that it happens. Yeah, we call it hopium.
Yeah, exactly.
We hope something. I hope the phone rings. I hope somebody emails me. I hope that I get this listing. Like, yeah, I don't like that drug.
Right, and it just doesn't happen. And I really believe the world needs more big players. I mean, just like you, and we got to change ourselves to change our world. And so that's why I spent so much time and money between my second and third year in real estate, really changing myself. Because I was kind of stuck, at least I felt I was stuck in this $10 to $15 million range, right? My first year I did $10 million, my second year $14 million, and I was like, I just don't really want a 40% increase. I want a big increase. And instead of looking outward, I really looked inward. And so this is a skill and a tactic that I think is really important. I call it listening 101, and it's about asking a great question, listening, and then saying, hey, thanks for sharing. And so often, gosh, as realtors, as mortgage people, I feel we don't ask great questions, right? And like a great question might be, oh gosh, if I'm talking to a buyer, I might say something like, well, what has you thinking about moving? And, so role play with me, Scott. So pretend you're a buyer.
Yeah, so like, well, we're thinking about getting married. We got a baby on the way. Just need more room.
Awesome. And even as you're talking, I jotted down, getting married, baby on way, need more room.
Yep.
And if I'm in front of them, talking to them face-to-face at a coffee shop or at their house, I'm jotting this down. And it's kind of funny. Sometimes as realtors, we think we need all these like magical props and stuff. And if you came to my home office in San Diego, it's pretty sad. I mean, I have a yellow pad of paper, and that's my big magical prop.
Perfect. Well, it shows you're listening.
Yeah, it shows I'm
And it
listening.
shows, yeah, you wrote it down, you're listening, and you can reference it later. Yeah, I mean, because to be honest, people don't listen anymore. They're always thinking about what they're going to say next. Like you say, what's my next big prop? And people don't, I mean, God, people don't get listened to anymore, and like it kind of goes in one ear and out the other, and then they're on to whatever they want to say next, for sure.
Exactly. And so it's like I want them to feel like they're the most important person on global planet Earth.
Right.
And that is like really, really important to me. And so it's what a doctor does, right? So, gosh, our oldest daughter, probably 2 months ago, she tore her ACL. And so we went to the doctor, and the doctor didn't have all these awards on his, office. He didn't have, it was a pretty, basic looking room, right? But he just comes in with his file folder and starts taking notes and starts asking questions. And it's so simple. So all I do is pretty much what a doctor does. And so, hey, awesome. Okay, so you're getting married. That's awesome. A baby on the way. Fantastic. You need more room. Tell me more about those things. And I might go like 6 levels deep with that, right? So I might, oh, you're getting married. Awesome. Tell me more about that. Well, I've been dating her for 7 years and dot, dot, dot. Oh, that's awesome. Tell me more. Where'd you guys meet? Oh, we met here and did this. And, oh, cool. And, so tell me more. Like, where do you guys live now? And, when you say more room, what does that mean, right? Because sometimes we got to get out of our own way, right? And it goes back to this right here. The world is set up for you to succeed. Now you got to get out of your own way. Because I might be talking to somebody who says, hey, I need more room. And if I live in a 1,000 square foot house, to me, more room might be 2,000 square feet.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, right. Good point.
So I live in a 1,000 square foot house. I say, hey, Scott, so you need more room. Wow, like what? Like 2,000 square feet? And they might be thinking, no, we need like 6,000 square feet, and they just cross me off as their realtor.
Right, exactly.
Or they might be, no, we need 500 square feet, and they cross me off as their realtor.
Right on. Don't answer it for them is what you're saying. Ask them, what does that mean? I love that, dude. I love that. Yep. What does that mean, more room? Because you don't know.
Because we don't know. So also, tell me more. What does that mean to you? And so anyway, that's critical. So when performance is measured, performance improves. There is no doubt about it. It's like I can tell an amateur from a professional very easily. So an amateur, they're just playing for fun. It's like I'm on a softball league, and we play for fun, right? Like nobody's measuring their like on-base percentage and all this type of stuff. But I can tell you this, a professional baseball player, their performance is measured, and they're going to know, okay, yeah, my batting average is this, but it's this during day games, it's this during night games, it's this versus left-hand pitchers, it's this versus right-hand pitchers. I mean, the amount of stats in baseball is amazing. And so I always have to ask myself, what's my goal for today? And really that's good, but really what's my goal in the next 60 minutes? And so what that does, that allows me not to get sidetracked and have lunches with business partners that don't, for 3 years haven't given me any business. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely.
Or if I'm going to have that lunch, I'm going to make sure it's a point where I tell people one of the keys to success is to be very clear, direct, and firm.
Clear, direct, and firm. Yeah, yep.
Direct and firm. And so if I do go to lunch with that business partner, I'm going to, talk to him about him and tell me more. And then I'll just be very clear, direct, and firm. And I might be like, hey, Fred, oh my gosh, I've been trying to earn your business for 4 years. Come on, help me out here. You got to know somebody right now who's thinking about buying or selling a home. I mean, who comes to your mind first?
Love it. Yep.
And
ask for the business. You can't get it unless you ask for the business, right?
Gotta ask for it, right?
Yeah, we're in sales. I mean, I think people think, well, I don't want to offend my friends, or I don't want to look like a salesperson. Sorry, you are in sales. That's how we get paid, is when we get a listing or sell a listing, right?
Exactly.
Or have a buyer that buys a home. That's when we get paid. So if you're not asking, you're not going to get. That's the biggest piece I think that most people have a hard time with, is actually and doing it in a cool. You can do it in a cool way, like you just said. Who do you know? Who would you think of first? Love that.
Exactly. So these are three components that I just kind of have noticed. So I've done a whole bunch of research on people who are like very successful financially, but also successful in like life. And three of the common traits they have, they all just seem to be like alive, and they all seem to be just excited, and they're just full of energy. And
well, how did I answer? How did I say hello to you when I first when we first got on this webinar?
Yeah, it was pretty alive, excited.
It was crazy, wasn't it? Yeah, I answered the phone, and you can ask anybody that knows me. If they call me, that's what they're going to get. And almost every, it's so funny, everybody laughs.
Yeah.
It makes them smile, makes them laugh, and it's like, dude, what's this guy on, right?
All right.
I'm just on some good Starbucks coffees, though.
It's so simple, right? It's like it doesn't cost me anything to be alive, excited, and full of energy. There's no cost to me. It's free. So it's like, do it. And here's so important. So I mean, what stops you on the phone stops you everywhere else in your life. Start to become aware of your other avoidance behaviors. Attitude, prospecting, presenting, asking. Okay, so I tell realtors there's 4 components. So there's 4 things you're going to do in a typical day. You're going to have a great attitude. You're going to prospect. You're going to present, and you're going to ask. And that's it. And all we do is ask people for things. It's really not selling. It's just asking them. So it's saying, hey, can I help you buy a house? Hey, can I help you sell a house? Hey, who else do you know who is thinking about buying a house or selling a house? So I tell people I'm a horrible salesperson, but I'm a great consultant, and I'm really good at asking.
There you go.
I just don't have any fear in it, because worst case is they're going to say no to whatever I ask for. So I'm at the same spot that I was before I asked. Best case is they say yes, and that might mean $5,000 to $100,000 in commissions just from asking that one question. All right, so I'm really clear on who I want to work with. So I have 5 things that a client has to have. I call them a probable purchaser. Other people call them a lead. I don't believe I can create leads. I can only like find them. So when I get a lead that comes in, it is what it is. And so then there's 5 things. 1, I want to make sure they're ready, willing, and able to engage in a dialogue. So like if I'm really like, hey, how you doing? How can I help you? I don't want any help. Okay. It's tough for me to help them out. They got to be ready, willing, and able to be friendly and cooperative. They got to be ready, willing, and able to act within the next 12 months. They got to be able to buy or sell their home at market value. To me, that's really, really critical, because if they want to buy a $800,000 home for $600,000, because I'm very clear, direct, and firm, I just tell them, that's impossible. It's not going to happen.
So you qualify your people right up front. I mean, that's kind of obvious, but I'm guessing that a lot of people you talk to feel they got to do something for the person first before they get to know these answers, right?
No.
I mean, before they like drive around in a car and show homes for 2 weeks before qualifying a person if they're ready, willing, and able. Dude, I love that.
Yeah. So I don't know if we'll have time on this call, but when I can show you my sheet of questions I ask people, but I don't even ask them about the house they called upon. If they say, yeah, I called on 123, Main Street, I'll say, hey, yeah, that's a pretty cool house. So tell me, what has you thinking of moving? And where do you live now? And get into that, hey, we're getting married, we're having a baby, we need more room. And very rarely do people say, well, can you tell me about that house that I called on? Because they're really not calling about that house. They're raising their hand saying, hey, I want somebody to help me.
Right.
And that's what I do. And then number 5, they're ready, willing, and able to have our group serve them. So
simple. I mean, it's simple. Common.
Yeah.
It's nothing unheard of.
Yeah.
I don't know what the SW means, man. Maybe it's on this form. I don't know, but.
Okay. So and I tell people everything that you're going to hear from me, you're going to say, I know that, right? Because there's nothing new under the sun, right?
All right.
And what was it? Solomon, the wisest man that's ever lived, according to the Bible, he's like, there's nothing new under the sun. It's all repackaged. It's all the same. And I believe that is totally true. What is different is that people who struggle will sometimes say, hey, I know that, because they do know that. But the people who implement it and thus get a different result, typically a better result, are the people that say, I'm doing that. Right? Like everybody knows.
Yeah, it's all on how you say it.
Yeah, everybody knows.
I want to, or I am. Yeah.
Right. Everybody knows to ask the business partner, hey, who do you know right now who's thinking about buying or selling a home that I can help?
Right.
Everybody's going to say, well, of course I should say that. But it's the brave people who basically get out of their comfort zone and quote-unquote risk that relationship by asking for that. And so SW, 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 4 of them. And I don't have any tattoos, Scott, but if I did, this would be the largest tattoo on my forearm, like a massive, because it stands for some will, some won't, so what, someone's waiting.
Wow, love it. Okay, all right.
So every conversation I have is, some will want to work with me, some won't want to work with me. So what? There's nothing I can do about it, and someone's waiting.
Yeah, love it. That is a great tattoo, man.
Yeah. So I get a lot of leads. I probably, gosh, I don't know. I don't want to say because I don't know, but I'm guessing probably 200 leads a month.
Okay.
And I probably call 10% of those leads. So I probably actually get on the phone and talk to 20 of those people. And the two things I'm looking for is I'm looking for someone who's really going to buy and sell a home at the same time, and then someone who's going to buy and sell a home in that $400,000 to $900,000 range. And could be even a little higher than that, probably more like 400 to maybe 1.4 million range. But I like to work with someone that's going to buy and sell because I'm getting 2 transactions for basically the same amount of work as just helping somebody sell a home or helping somebody buy a home. And then I just find, and it's different in different markets, but I like working in like the middle range. Like, so where I live, most homes, average home price is probably $1 million, and it probably goes up to $22 million, and probably down to as low as $300,000. And so I don't want to work that low side of things. I want kind of the middle bread and butter. But that's again me. It's different for different people. Because I just find that those people are, like, I don't work well with like a Rolls-Royce buyer, if that makes sense, because he's got the Rolls-Royce, he's looking for an $8 million home, he's upset that it doesn't have granite made out of Africa, he's wanting to know where the blinds were made, were they made in Swahili, were they made in Thailand, I don't know. You know, they're just blinds. And someone who is not at that level is just more interested in non-perfection, if that makes sense. And so if I had to choose which is better, I would choose a seller, because a seller is going to take 10 hours of work versus a buyer is going to take me 40 hours. A buyer, I'm doing all the work. A seller, I have 15 to 17,000 realtors helping me sell that house. And so that's one huge component that allows me to earn more and work less. And what's interesting, so in my 11-year career, I've had everything. Where I've had a team of buyer agents, helping me out, a team of listing agents, a team of 5 assistants. This year, I decided, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try doing real estate this year with 0 assistants and 1 buyer's agent. And this year will be my best year ever financially.
Wow.
And I'm not working a lot of hours. So
is your assistant working full time, or how like when you said like your buyer's agent? So what you did is you removed the buyer's part of it, which is the 40 hours you doing all the work, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And only focus on the seller, and you have a buyer's agent doing the rest.
Yeah, and I don't even have an assistant.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, it's.
I can help you with that, man.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I should get an assistant, but so these are 4 things that it's hard to see. But so when I got into real estate 11 years ago, I guess I could have thought, oh my gosh, how am I going to get business? Because I'm not a top producer. I'm a nobody. And but I read this article. It's done by the University of Washington, and it said the 4 things that people wanted out of a realtor were they want someone who's friendly, someone who's caring, someone who's energetic and magnetic, and someone who's a servant. So when I read that, I was like, awesome, that's me. So all I got to do is just be me and be friendly, caring, energetic, magnetic, and a servant. And then I got to do it with massive persistence and a lot of consistency. And then I got to do it with urgency, like now, right? So if I get a lead, right now, it's probably 9:30 or something, San Diego time. And if I got a lead, and I'm on the phone with him or her, I would say, hey, let's meet. I could either meet you at 10 o'clock this morning, or I could meet you at 1 o'clock this afternoon. What's better for you? Well, that's having a high sense of urgency. Does that make sense?
It absolutely does, yes.
And I do that very persistently and consistently. That's just natural. And so it really comes down to, do you have the pig-headed discipline and determination to be those things, which is really just the core components of just being a nice person and then being ultra persistent and a high sense of urgency.
Hey, one thing to add to that, and I've read this over and over and over, and the people that I work, like the high-end producers that I know that are very successful, one is they say that 80+% of the time the first person to answer the phone or the first person to call back is 80% chance better to get the deal 80% of the time. So like that in itself, and then if you add the energetic, friendly, caring, servant type mentality to it, and you tie all this together, that's who they're going to go. I mean, you have an 80% better chance to get the deal than having something go to voicemail and call them back in an hour. Like say within 10 minutes is what realistically you should be calling people back at.
For me, I try and call back within 30 seconds.
Correct. Which is, and I just try to answer the phone. If you can answer the phone. I had more success just answering the phone because I know that people want to talk to somebody. That's never, ever, ever going to go away. So if they know that I answer the phone 99% of the time, and the other person, my competition, never answers the phone and it goes to voicemail, who are they going to call?
Exactly.
There's no secret there. It's just, a buddy of mine said the other day, he goes, we do common things exceptionally well. Isn't that weird when you think about that?
Yeah.
Common things exceptionally well. It's crazy.
It is very simple. I give an example of McDonald's, right? So McDonald's is the largest restaurant on global Earth. their big sales pitch, if that makes sense, which is really just asking someone to do something. Like when I go through the drive-through in San Diego and when you go through the drive-through in Michigan, what's the magic words that they ask us when we first pull up?
How can I help you?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So if I could do a Control-Alt-Delete of probably everybody on this call and just be like, that's all you need to say.
How can I help you? Yeah.
All you need to say.
Yeah.
And that's what did it for me my third year when I went from 10 million to 14 million to 27 million. I got back to simplicity. And
yeah, amen, man.
All this jibber jabberish, it was just like, hey, thanks for calling. How can I help you?
Right. Yeah.
and they would ask, well, I'm calling about this house on 123 Main Street. What's the backyard like? And I would say, you know what? I got so many listings, I don't really remember. But you know what? I'd be happy to show it to you. I could show it to you at 10 a.m. Today or at 1 in the afternoon.
Get the face-to-face.
Yeah,
Yep.
and tell me, you're asking about the backyard. In a perfect world, tell me more about that. What are you looking for in a backyard? Well, we want to throw the football to our son because we like doing that on a Sunday afternoon. Oh, tell me more about that, right? I look at my other that has the tattoo which says, tell me more. And I'm just friendly, caring, energetic, magnetic, and people like it. Doesn't matter if they live in Minnesota or California. People like friendly people. Pretty basic. So really, the real estate is so simple. It's as easy as ABC, but you got to be persistent, got to be consistent, got to be urgent, got to have leads, and really you got to have more leads than you can handle. Which is, I'm just addicted to leads. I want to have more leads that I can physically handle. And then provide value. The biggest way to provide value is right here. Friendly, caring, energetic, magnetic, and a servant. And just saying, tell me more. What are you looking for? How can I help you? And then meet. Step B, which I call it an initial consultation. So it's very non-threatening. And it could be at a house that I show them, or it could be at their house for a listing appointment. And I can go over all the material that I have and use, but really at the end of the day it comes down to me just asking really insightful questions and being clear, direct, and firm with them. And if it's a seller and they want to sell for $800,000 and it's worth $600,000, I have a moral obligation to tell them it's only worth $600,000. So I say, gosh, that's great, you want to sell for $800,000, but experience shows, and I love to use that word, experience shows. Experience shows, your house is going to sell for around $600,000. Is it something? Do you still want to sell? Simple question. Yeah.
You can't be scared of it, right?
Yeah. Well, gosh, Realtor Fred says he's going to sell it for $800,000. Well, experience shows that your house is only going to sell for $600,000. And one of the worst things you could do is put your home on the market at $800,000, make your life plans for it to sell for $800,000, and at the end of the day, it sells up, for $600,000. That's just not what professionals do, right? It's like, and then I'll give them an example of a physician. And I'll say, when I go to a physician, when you go to a physician, you just want someone who's honest, right?
Right.
Clear, direct, and firm. And give me worst case scenario. And that's what I'm giving you. And then I usually close with a line that I like to use, which is, bottom line, I'm going to get the job done for you, and I am not going to let you down.
There you go.
And
I love the position analogy. When you call it, you want honest, truthful. You don't want a pie in the sky. Hey, right?
Yeah.
And that's and then he immediately relates the other agent to a pie in the sky guy.
Right.
Or girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, gosh, so I like to tell people, I say, do you know the three, at least this is in California, Minnesota, I don't know, other states do it, but it's probably similar. But to get a real estate license is you need to have three things. And I'll say this to the client, at their kitchen table. And I just have conversations with people. And this is how I talk with them. And I'll say, there's three requirements to be a realtor in the state of California. One, you have to have a license. So that's just a given. But beyond that, the three requirements are you have to be 18 or older, you have to be sane, and you have to be sober. And those are the three requirements. Those are the three questions they ask you once you've taken your test and passed. Are you 18? Are you sane? Are you sober? That's it. And so the bar of entry to get into the real estate business is just not that high. And so I can see why someone might want to tell you what you want to hear instead of what you need to hear. And my goal is to tell you what you need to hear every step of the way. And there's 381 steps in a real estate transaction. That's a lot. I'm going to help you through every single step. And bottom line, I'm going to get the job done for you, and I am not going to let you down.
There you go. Simple. Common stuff. Common stuff, man.
And then celebrate. So, I mean, celebrate the closings. Gosh, I make a big deal of that. So I do a housewarming party.
Every single one?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, crazy not to. Why wouldn't you, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a whole process. I can give you a checklist on that. But it really, it starts right at the beginning, right? So it's that lead comes in, and I say, hey, how can I help you? And da-da-da. I say, oh, that's awesome. Well, Scott, I know I'm going to help. I'm going to get the job done for you, and I'm not going to let you down. And I also want to let you know that, when we close on your home, if it's okay with you, I want to throw you and your wife and your kids a housewarming party. And what I mean by that is typically about 3 weeks after you move in, we're going to have this party, and we're going to invite, the neighbors, maybe 50 neighbors, if you're okay with that, so you can meet them and their kids and whatnot. And then, I'll also get a list of people that maybe you work with or friends of yours that you'd like to have invited to this, and I cater in food, right? So I'll cater in, in our area, Rubio's, let's say. It's a popular kind of Mexican, fast food type of thing. So I'll cater in some Rubio's. If you're okay with it, I'll buy beer and sodas, things like that. I'll send out all the invitations for you. I coordinate everything. And what I do is I have a professional house cleaner come in the day before the party to clean for you, and then also the day after to clean up afterwards. I even send the carpet cleaner out to clean the carpets just in case, they get a little messy and whatnot. And you can imagine.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I don't want to work with you, man.
Right. And this is I have.
You tell them that right up front before you get the listing?
I tell them that. So a lead call comes in, I tell them.
The buyer. Yeah, the buyer,
within 4 minutes. So I don't care about the house they're calling on. I want them to hang up the phone and look at their spouse and go like, we found our realtor.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Wow.
So simple. It's as easy as ABC.
Dude, house cleaner. Dude, I love that. Like, why wouldn't you do that? House cleaner's inexpensive. Carpet cleaning's inexpensive. Writing small checks to cash big checks. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Because even if all that stuff adds up to, and this would be absurd, but even if all that stuff added up to $800, which it isn't.
I was going to say $1,000, yeah.
Yeah, if it adds up to $1,000, so then what I do, I then wear like an apron, right? And on the apron, it's like a cook's, apron kind of thing. So I stand out from everybody there, and people say, well, who are you? And I say, oh, I'm Jonathan. I'm their realtor. Oh, my gosh, I've heard of you. My friend Sally has been talking about you and dot, dot, dot.
Exactly.
Or, the buyer, they're introducing me to everybody, and then I have a simple form. So I have a giveaway, like a $50 Target card giveaway, and they got to fill out a little form, and on the form it says, hey, are you thinking about moving? Are you thinking about upsizing, thinking about downsizing? Would you like to save money on your mortgage, right? So then what I do is those leads then I give to my mortgage person. So as a realtor, oh my gosh, if you want to dazzle your lender, do a housewarming party even once a quarter for somebody. And
right on. Once a month, pick one or something. Yeah. Somebody brought up a good point. A professional photographer. That's inexpensive. $150 for the night.
Yeah, have them shoot for. That's a great idea. I love it.
I know. James, thank you for that. James brought that up. So yeah.
Nice. Well, awesome. So, gosh, that's as far as we got today. So.
All right, cool, man. So, here's some questions that we had coming in. That a lot of them said, "Dude, where are you getting all your leads?" And I know at the beginning you said Zillow and Trulia.
Yeah.
What is that? Where most of your lead source come from, or past clients, or where they come from?
All right. So probably 50% of my business comes from past clients, or I call it current clients.
Okay.
So even when I talk to somebody that first 8 minutes on the phone, I tell them, hey, I just want to warn you, you're going to have such a phenomenal experience working with me that you're probably going to introduce me to people that you really, really care about who are also thinking about buying or sell a home before we even close on your current house. You'll probably introduce 2 people to me before your house even goes pending. And I just want to warn you, are you okay with that? And if someone says, no, I'm never going to introduce anybody to anybody, then I know I probably don't want to work with them, right?
Right.
And if they say, oh my gosh, if you deliver half of what you say, I'm going to be your biggest advocate.
Yep. How much marketing does, so what I heard you say was 50% from past clients, Trulia and Zillow?
No. 50% of my business comes from just past clients and current clients.
Okay.
And then probably 50% from
other lead sources, Zillow and Trulia. Okay.
Facebook. Oh my gosh, Facebook is one of the easiest, cheapest ways to get seller inquiries. That it doesn't mean they're going to sell their house, this afternoon, but they want to know what their current house is worth. And again, what I do with that is I give that to my mortgage partner.
Okay.
Because it's a refinance. Because there's only 2 reasons why people want to know what their house is worth. They either want to refinance or they want to sell.
Amen.
That's it. It's people might give you a excuse or an objection like, well, I'm just looking, I'm just curious, but that's impossible. Because I go back to the McDonald's example. Mm-hmm. When I go through the drive-through, I've nenever asked them for a nutritional menu update, data card or something. Right. It doesn't happen. It's like all I ask for is, they say, how can I help you? And I say, yeah, I'd like a Diet Coke, I'd like 2 apple pies, and whatever it is.
Right. So I'm going to use your formula, and I'm just kind of having a little fun here. Tell me more about that Facebook. I'm just kidding. We'll save that for another day. I think that's good for a whole class in itself. It's just maybe how to use maybe some scripts you use for current clients, past clients, Facebook, stuff like that.
I can show people the exact companies I use and all that type of stuff.
Perfect. So here's a bunch of people are bringing up going $800 to $1,000, and they say, in Ohio, when my average loan size is $150, how do you what are some things you could do to have a housewarming party, and not because if you're talking $150,000 or $4,500, I don't know, can you cut it in half? What were some things that you would do there?
Yep. Okay. So in Minnesota is probably, somewhat similar to Ohio, let's say. And so
Okay.
what I would do is I would call, like house cleaners,
Okay.
and I would get that for free.
Okay.
So the way I get that for free is I call a house cleaner and I say, hey, I'm a realtor in the area. What I do for my clients is I throw them a housewarming party, within the first 3 weeks of them moving into a house. And would you be willing to do a free house cleaning before the party and after the party with the hope that maybe you could sign them on as a client where they would then hire you to clean the house either once a week, once a month, maybe it's once a quarter, and you need to make about 4 phone calls before you find a house cleaner anywhere on global Earth who's going to say yes.
Right on. Right on. Cool.
And
That
that's
makes
free.
total sense. And you could, yeah, carpet cleaners too, as far as that goes too, because they all. I mean, how do you get noticed? Especially a new
Exactly.
person moving to a new house. I mean, it's
I,
yeah.
I've even done that, Scott, for restaurants, right? So I take a restaurant, and maybe it's a smaller, local place, and I call them up. I say, hey, I'm throwing a housewarming party for these people. They live in Poway, which is the city I live in. This restaurant's called Bernardo's, and would you be willing to cater in the food? These people are moving in from out of town. They've never heard of your restaurant, Bernardo's. It's one of my favorite. I love it, and I'd love these people to experience it. And I just know that, if you cater this food in for free, they're going to be back to your restaurant probably on a weekly to a monthly basis. Plus, you can leave, coupons or whatnot for all the guests that come, and I know they'll, be coming to your restaurant as well.
Right.
And again,
Own it.
you need to call about 3 restaurants before
Right.
one's going to say yes.
Or even at a discounted price. I mean, if they got a hundred, depending on how many people, it's so much per head. Maybe they'll discount it for you, and I guarantee you can probably get it down to half, if not a third of what, I mean, and then if you get a big $400,000, go all out, because typically $400,000 homes are going to hang around other people that have $400,000 homes. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
Typically, your neighborhood is a neighborhood, right? I mean, you may be 350 or maybe 450, but when you start, if you fish for $150,000 homes, or you fish for $450,000 homes, which one do you think you're going to catch? Whichever one you fish for, right?
Correct. And that's really an amazing, psychological thing too, where when I help realtors out, I tell them I really don't care where they're at or what they're doing. I care, like, where do you want to be at?
Yeah,
Like,
true. True.
like one year from now, what do you want to be doing? 3 years
Right.
from now, 5 years from now, and I could care less. I don't care about history. I don't care about past, because all we have is today and the future. But the future is going to be based on what we do, today in the present.
Right.
So, who do you want to go after? Who's your ideal client? If it's, the 150 buyer, first-time buyer,
Yep.
awesome, no problem. I'll tell you exactly how to best get those folks. Yet, gosh, I could help you work less, make more
Right, on
by,
your loan size.
right,
Yeah.
right.
All right, man. Last question. So just to clarify this, and a lot of people are asking, I don't, or saying I don't get any leads from Truly and Zillow. Well, maybe we'll do a class on that, and maybe why they're not getting leads on Truly and Zillow down the road. But somebody's Robin's asking. Thanks for being here, Robin. It says, so in the first conversation on the phone with the prospect, he goes over what he will do for them. And maybe let me take a shot at this. So you listen, you ask the questions, you say, tell me more, and then you provide value, which we'll get into the next class that we do together. We talk about bringing value to the table. I mean, dude, just by you, I mean, I kind of got chills when you said housewarming party, house cleaners, carpet cleaners, because I know I mean, what's the most exciting thing that people do in their lives? Buy a new home, right? What's
Yeah.
the second best, most exciting thing? Letting other people see it. It's Like you get like, oh my God, I can't wait for people to come over and see my new house, right?
Exactly.
So like you're already putting that in their head before they even start looking at homes right off the bat, or maybe they've looked at homes but not physically went inside. But dude, I'm like, holy crap, man! How would I not say that to them in the first 4 minutes? Is that kind of answering the question? Yes, you do.
Yeah, exactly. It's people. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. It's a very basic
Love that,
phrase,
man.
right?
Love that.
But
Yep.
it's like, People Magazine has like 3.5 million subscribers,
Wow.
and I think it's Time Magazine gets like 1 million subscribers. And so it's like there's more people that are just interested in people.
Right.
Time Magazine is just kind of a little boring, and people don't want that. So it's being alive, excited, and full of energy, and it's not talking about me, right? Because talking about me would be, well, I sold 1,100 homes. I've sold, now close to $350 million of real estate. I'm one of the top 42 realtors in the entire nation. I don't work a lot. I take lots of vacations, like wherever I want to go. When I go on a vacation, I don't bring my cell phone. I drive some pretty snazzy cars. I got a great house.
Right. They don't care about that.
Right.
People
You know
don't
what
care
I mean?
about you, right?
I got a daughter who's a freshman in college, and but so it gets back to like the McDonald's person, right? Because when you and I go to McDonald's, we don't ask that person, hey, McDonald's employee, how long have you been an employee? How long have you been cooking French fries? Do you really know how to make hamburgers?
Right.
We don't care. So it's like we got to get out of our own way and just do it. And so there's I call it top 150. So if somebody wants to spend no money on leads, that they can do it, because I call it sweat equity or check equity. So check equity is where I just buy leads from Zillow, Trulia, Facebook, these places. Sweat equity is where I pick up the phone and I call friends and family, or in my case, like when I started in real estate in Minnesota, I didn't know anybody there. My wife, but she's not going to buy a house for me except once. It's just so it's like I got to go meet people, and to meet people, oh my gosh, in today's world is like simple. You can join you can join 2 clubs within a snap of a finger, and probably have 300 people's phone numbers that you could call.
No question. No question. Easy. So easy today.
Hey, Scotty.
Jonathan, man.
How you doing, brother?
Oh, Carl.
How you doing, my man?
What's up, brother? What are you doing here, man?
I heard that Jonathan was going to be here today, and I didn't want to miss this. Jonathan, for all y'all listening, I don't know, I missed the intro, to be honest with you, but Jonathan's a really, really, really super cool dude that I found. I flew out to this mastermind in San Diego, and Jonathan and I are members of this mastermind group that I don't even remember the price of it. Is it $50,000 or $30,000 that we pay in our mastermind, Jonathan?
Yeah, well, I paid $30,000, so it's not cheap.
I couldn't remember. So anyway, so we pay $30,000 to be in this mastermind, that Jonathan's a part of. And I tell you, the reason I'm telling you this is this guy's got it going on. He's very successful in what he does. He practices what he preaches. And the main message I got out of Jonathan when I met with him in this room that I paid $30,000 to sit in was a message of simplicity. And Jonathan, what you've been talking about today, man, it's just back to the basics, the ABCs. And dude, this was some really, really, really good stuff. And I'm very grateful that you honored Scotty and myself with being here today. And Scotty, man, great interview, brother.
Thanks, man. Thanks so much, man. And a lot of people are coming in. Keith, I appreciate the comments. He goes, great webinar as usual. Thanks for bringing Jonathan to us. His friendly and caring demeanor is contagious. So if you guys could do me a huge favor, if you guys want to hear more from Jonathan, if you could go to our private Facebook group. And Jonathan, if you want to go back to the very first slide, we have a 12,000 plus people growing private Facebook group. It's at facebook.com/groups/agent mastermind. I think most of you are a member of this, but if you're not, if you could just give Jonathan a thumbs up for us. He's agreed to come back and show his expertise and exceptionalism and simplicity that he brings to his business with all of us, and I would be grateful. He would, of course, appreciate it as well. If you could just say thumbs up and just some words of gratitude for him, I'd greatly appreciate it myself. So.
Yeah, you can show him some love and write me a check.
That too, man. That too. So, Jonathan, thank you so much, brother. Let's work on next week's class. We'll bring some more great value to these guys. I sincerely appreciate you, and it's just been awesome getting to know you. And Carl, man, thanks for stopping in, bro. Nice to hear your voice.
Yeah, thank you, Carl. Thank you, Scott. And I'll have some handouts for the folks next Tuesday.
Sounds good, buddy. I appreciate it, man.
Have a great day.
Have a good rest of the week, everybody. Take care. We'll see you next week, same time, same place on Agent Mastermind. Honored to be a part of your life. Have a great, exciting, and fun rest of the week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.